Here we have the front of the Bluetti Elite 300. First we have the button, which is a rubberized on-off button for the DC circuit side. Above that rubberized button we see the main display screen. Below that, and in the centre of the buttons, we see our second device system button, again a rubberized on-off press for the main power. To the right of that we see the on-off for the AC circuit side. And to the right of that we see the two AC outlets, 230 volts, 2400 watts, 3-pin plug sockets ×2 for the UK specification. And to the left of that, below the buttons, we see our first USB socket, which is rated at 140 watts. To the left of that, on the DC output side, we see our two USB-A sockets, both rated at 15 watts. To the left of those, we see our DC output USB sockets, but that is rated at 100 watts. To the left, we see the DC PV input socket with a 12 volt to 60 volt range, 22 amps and 1200 watts. Above that, we see the DC output socket, 12 volt, 30 amps. And just above that, we see the DC output car cigarette socket at 12 volts and 10 amps. Here on the side of the Bluetti Elite 300 we can see one of the two side carry handles. Here on the back of the Bluetti Elite 300 we can see a cover which is held in with 6 hex type screws, and you can see at the top it has a ventilated area where the air and fan acts as the vent cover. This can obviously be removed so you can have access to the fans to clean. Here we have the other side of the Bluetti Elite 300, where at the top we can see the second side carrying handle, and below that on the left hand side we can see the earth screw location. And just to the middle we have the socket to plug in the AC charging cable, and to the right of that finally we see the 20 amp circuit protection fuse. Here we can see the top-down view of the Bluetti Elite 300, where you can see both the first and second side carrying handles. And here we have the final side to look at on the Bluetti Elite 300, and that is the bottom side where we can see the 4 rubber surface protection pads. Now here we're going to add the Elite 300 device to the app. First of all, we go into the app and look for the device. So here we can see it marked on the screen as EL300. So we're going to now select that, and now we're going to bind the unit to the app. So once it does a quick little search, it will bind your app to the device, and it will ask for your Wi-Fi details. So once you've popped in your Wi-Fi details, it's then good to just do an upgrade, as is often with new products likely to be a version upgrade. And here, as we can see, we do have an upgrade or two available to the device. So once you've got the search for the device, it will download on the app, as you can see, but you can also see on the screen the device shows a download percentage and the item number here. For instance, F01 is firmware 1, and we'll change to F02 when we go on to the next one. So as you can see here, that F01 is now at 100%, and it will reboot and start the device, and then it will start to download the next firmware update. As you can see here, we've just gone past 50%. On the screen, we can see it's now downloaded all, and it's just installing the firmware 02 file. Very quickly short files these, so they won't take long to update on your system. So as you can see, we're skiting through here at 30% already. Again, the system will restart and it will do a check for any other software updates available. And on this occasion, there it is, with it being a new device, and we have F03 available, as can be seen in this little update video. So there the boot device goes up, and we're now running up to the latest software. If we now go back to the app, we can see there is in fact another update for the F03, and it's updating that now. And again, these are relatively short size files, so it's not a big drawn out process. Again, once it gets to 100%, it will restart the device, and you will be notified in the app that your device is up to date. And it's worth regularly checking every month or two just to see if any new updates have been released for your devices. So we can see there now the device is at 100%, that's the third one installed, and we get the upgrade successful notification. So we can now see the device in the app setup itself, and we can check various things. And surprisingly, even though it's just done a update of 3 things, it's always worth just doing one final check, as I've done here, because sometimes there is surprisingly a message saying you're up to date, but you then quickly go back in and do another check, and actually there is another update which has now come out. So as you'll see, I'll just install that and get it up and running. And here we can see in the menu the various things you can do. It's good to look around all the sections in the app on the advanced settings, just so you're up to date and you can see all the elements and the settings that you can change, be it the UPS or the charging speed from the AC grid. So here is the main settings page you will see when you enter from the spinning cog at the top right of the app. So here we're just looking at the UPS settings that you can have there, and we're now just going to, as I say, go through the settings individually. So here we can see the charging mode, silent, standard or turbo, and you can just select whichever options you want. And you can also turn on eco mode for DC, AC, so if a device hasn't been used for a while, it will turn off those to preserve your battery status as long as possible. And here you can also have a screen timeout if you want, if you don't want to have the screen fully. And if you want to stop niggling fingers messing around, you can also even have a child lock on. Not necessarily just for children. So as I say, this is just a quick scoot through the various settings. The best way is to obviously go through the app itself, look at all the different options you can do and get yourself accustomed to the things that your device can do via the functions through the app. As you can see, there is countless options that you can actually go through if you want to really dive down into the minuet of detail, because there's plenty there for such a powerful little device. And be aware, sometimes while you're in the app, as its case is here, it's gone and found an update. So just action the update there and then, or wait until later if you so wish. Same principles as we've seen before. It's a very quick situation. It'll download the update file, reboot the system, and then it'll turn back on. Once it turns back on, just check that everything's turned on for AC, DC or whatever and things like that, and just check that it's in the app working as you would expect. Shouldn't be any problem, but it's always wise just to check once you've done a software update. Well, that's a little guide to the app and how it all works. I hope you found that useful, and thanks for watching this little video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share the video and subscribe to the channel.